That's lame. What am I doing? Hi guys, happy Monday and welcome back to my channel. If you guys are new here, hello, my name is Amanda. I am a journalism student at Philadelphia, Pennsylvania's Temple University, currently living and interning in the fabulous Washington, D.C. And here on this channel, you will find everything from lifestyle content to vlogs to random fashion and beauty rants and everything in between. I've also been known to scream on Twitter and Instagram about my favorite things, including but not limited to journalism ethics and CW's 100. So if you guys want to follow me on those socials, I will have them listed right over here. As I've been talking a lot on Instagram, I have been getting a lot of requests for tips and tricks for how to get an internship, just advice in general on the whole internship search thing, from applications to interviews to dress codes and everything in between. Obviously, I am a student myself. I am not the perfect example of a stellar intern who went on to get a fabulous job yet. Hopefully that will be me someday, but I'm not an expert, nor am I claiming to be. I have had a lot of experience in the internship world. This is my third internship, so I've had some experience on kind of different ends of the spectrum. I've certainly had my fair share of interviews and rejections and acceptances. So through this video, I just kind of want to put your guys' minds at ease, give advice and help where I can, and draw on my personal experience to impart information and wisdom that I wish I would have known when I started this process. We're going to start with applications. I'm going to kind of walk you through the process of getting an internship from start to finish. So first off with applications. By the time you guys are watching this, applications for fall internships are going to start reaching deadlines very quickly. So if you haven't already started to apply, I strongly suggest you take a chunk out of your day and get those internship applications out ASAP, because the closer you are to deadline, the less likely it is that they'll have spots opening up. The most important thing when you're applying for internships is you need to make sure that your application meets all the requirements. When you look at an internship application, whether it be in paper, on an online job board, maybe on your college internship website, my college has one, your career center might too, so definitely check on that if you are a college student, or the equivalent thereof if you're watching this from somewhere other than America. But definitely check those websites for listings and then read the listing carefully. Read it once, read it twice, then read it again. Make sure you have everything down pat. You have a working knowledge of everything they expect you to have a working knowledge of. Make sure that you have the required clips or samples or portfolios if you need them, and I'll talk about that in a sec. Make sure you've got it all together and that it's all neat as a pin, looking sharp, looking great, so that you make a good first impression and people will not feel as though their time has been wasted by reading your material when it's obvious that you're not a good fit for them, and it would have been obvious to you too if you had read the instruction. If you are submitting clips or a portfolio, get a professional to look at it first. If you have a professor that you're friendly with, or if the editor-in-chief of your school paper has been around the block a few times, or an advisor of some kind, if they have the time and are willing, have them look over your portfolio, have them read over your clips just to make sure that they are the best pieces of work that you have, because you don't want to sell yourself short. When you're putting together your resume, especially if you have prior experience, it's really, really important to tailor that resume to your desired position. You have experience in a certain field, make sure that you play that up. Make sure that you show concrete examples of work you did and then results. Internships are really hard to get. The better you set yourself up for success and professionalism, the happier you and your future employer will be. Cover letters are really stressful. I have written a lot of them, and I only got comfortable writing them because I wrote so many of them over the past few semesters. So if you feel shaky or weird about writing cover letters, you are so not alone. It's really, really stressful and it's really kind of scary. However, they are a necessity to getting your foot in the door, so you have to make the most of it. Your cover letter is actually an opportunity to make yourself be a person to your resume reviewer. It's great that the hiring manager or the HR person or whoever it is that's reading your resume is seeing your grit qualifications, all of your clips and whatever, but your cover letter is the opportunity for you to use your individual voice, you get to use your individual style, while it's appropriate, of course, to portray the real you. If you're applying to a creative ad agency, your process is going to be very different than if you're applying to like a business analyst industry. The way that I structure my cover letters, as advised by a career advisor at my school, is in 3 different parts. The first paragraph is your introduction. It's where you say, hello, here's my name, here's the school that I attend and the year that I'm in and my major, here's where I heard about the internship, and here's the internship I'm specifically interested in. Next paragraph should be saying, okay, now that I've gotten your attention, here's why I believe believe I'm qualified for your team. Here's why I believe I could add value. This is where you talk a little bit about your experience and why you think it makes you qualified. I also add a second paragraph listing some traits. So I say things like, I'm a team player, I enjoy working in groups, but I'm not afraid to work alone when needed. I'm a self-starter, but I'm not afraid to ask for help. You're not bragging on yourself, you're just empirically stating, hey, here's what I have in my internal arsenal. Here are the good personality traits I possess that make me a good candidate for this position. And you'll just want to end with a short close of, I appreciate your time. Thank you for your consideration. I look forward to hearing from you soon. Please review my resume for any additional qualifications. This is important, very important. Close it off with this. Best or best regards or sincerely. Sign your name, your handwritten name, and then type below it your name. That makes it very personal, very businesslike, looks really, really nice. That's how you end a cover letter. Little self-promo here. If you guys are struggling with your resume, or maybe you're in a time crunch, you want to get an internship application out before the deadline, but the deadline is coming up in 2 days and you need someone to look over your resume or cover letter, I actually started a small business called In Due Time Editing. I'll put the link down below, and we actually specialize in that, in resume and cover letter reviews, on less than 24 or 48 hours notice. My entire team is here for you. Just go to the website down below. Our rates are really competitive and really cheap. I think it's $3 for one resume, a little bit more for a cover letter. We'll also consult with you one-on-one over the phone or Skype or FaceTime to make sure everything is just right, and we're representing you to the best of your ability. So with that in mind, check us out. I'll leave a link down below, and send us your resume and cover letter for review. When you get your internship interview, the first thing you need to do is practice and kind of go over what they say about your business, what kind of questions they're asking in the interview, what the culture is like, anything that will help prepare you for answering these kinds of questions. I'm also going to link to a couple of really good websites that have lots of good resources about job interviews, especially for the modern student. Internqueen.com is one of my very favorite sites. I'm not sponsored by them at all. I just really like their site. Internqueen.com has a lot of really good resources for job interviews, for career moves, anything like that. And it also has a very, very wide database of listings for internships like marketing, journalism, PR, business. The Intern Queen team is having a bunch of parties / meetups. It's free to register. You guys can come spend the night with other interns and learn from a network with panelists from a lot of different companies. So you guys can go ahead and sign up for those. I'll put the links in the description box. And interviewers are gonna expect you to be nervous, so don't worry too much about that, but you owe it to yourself to be the best that you can be, and that means performing the best you can be in this interview. If you do not already have one of these babies, I highly suggest you get one. This is what's called a padfolio. It has a pocket on one side and a slot for a legal pad on the other. A lot of times you see these in courtroom dramas. Lawyers have them, employers have them, but future employees should have one as well. It looks nicer than a folder. You can get a faux leather one for $14 at Marshall's. You can invest in a nicer one on Amazon or at any of your local office supply stores. But if you do not have one, you need to get one. If you sit down with your interviewer or your interviewers, there's most common two, and they go, oh, we don't have a copy of your resume. No, that's okay, I've got some. And you give one of them a copy, and that way you have one to put in front of yourself. Bring 3 or 4 copies at minimum, and bring them printed on resume paper. It feels nicer. Usually it's made of linen. You can get it for relatively cheaply at Target, and it makes a world of difference. A lot of career centers at your school will probably have resume paper available for you to use, as long as you give them your resume for review first. That's what my school does anyway, so you can probably have access to that service there. You're done with the interview, you go back to your card, you take a deep breath. You know what the first thing you do is before even leaving the parking lot? And you write a handwritten thank you card addressed to the people or the person that interviewed you. I had 2 interviews for the same position. I ended up going with the Citizen, but both times I sat down and I wrote down thank you cards in the car before I even drove away from the internship site, and I dropped them in the middle of the way home, so they got to them by the end of the week, and both times I got calls back. It might sound lame and antiquated, but it actually really, really works, and it does make all the difference. So invest in some really nice thank you cards, and just dash off a little note. It doesn't have to be eloquent, but it should be businesslike. And thanking them for speaking with you and adding a personal touch really does make all the difference. We're down to the last part of the process. Maybe you get accepted to this internship, and maybe you get rejected. Either way, I have tips because I've been through both. I got rejected for an internship this summer that I really wanted, and I was very, very upset. Looking back on it, I don't know why I applied, because I was not as qualified for it as my competitors, but I still did it, and I'm proud of myself for doing it, but it really sucked. I cried for like 2 days because it felt very disheartening to be turned down for something that A, I really wanted, and B, I viewed as like the gateway to the rest of my career as a journalist. If you get rejected, allow yourself to be disappointed. I'm a firm believer that if something happens, if one door closes, another door will open, and if another door doesn't open, you gotta climb out the window. My advice to you is this: email that person back, respond and say, thank you so much for your time, I really appreciated it. And then if I may ask, how could my application have improved? If you want to apply to this place again, you'll learn what you did or didn't do that made or break your application, and then you can fix it, you can learn. You have to have good boundaries and know when it's just them and when it's something you actually have to change. Maybe you got accepted, in which case, get excited, celebrate. As soon as you get the acceptance email, respond saying, thank you so much for this offer, I accept the position. Please let me know what additional steps I can take. Maybe there's paperwork you need to fill out. Maybe there's an online portal you have to register through, or something that HR needs you to do before your start date. Make sure that you are open and attentive to hammering out all of those details sooner rather than later. So this video got kind of long, but that is all that I have. Well, it's not all that I have, but all I have for this video of internship getting tips. It's a lot of fun to just take that extra step toward working toward your passion, toward being in the workforce and doing what it is you're going to school for. It makes it feel that more real. And don't forget to check out the links in the description box to all of the resources I have. Also, don't forget to check out In Due Time Editing in case you want your resume or your cover letter looked over. My team is very, very fast. They're super dedicated. They're experts. Thank you guys so much for watching. It was great to talk to you, and I will see you guys next week.